I was an actress, lots of people might find that interesting. Though you always talk as if I should be ashamed of it.
Well, it's not exactly something to be proud of. Winifred, dearest, I'm only thinking of you. I want people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, George, but sometimes it's hard.
It is not hard. It's your job to be Miss Banks.
And what's your job?
To pay for everything. What is it?
I was only going to kiss you.
Oh, all right. Are you going to say something to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
I don't think so.
Very well. But just make sure she's doing things our way and not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who is disciplined and stern with boys and girls. You can't befriend them. I fear this Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
Mrs. Banks should be an easy role, and yet it's one which I don't seem too good at on the whole. I have a comfy home, I have a simple life, I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Being Mrs. Banks, what does that entail? Facing test of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I like to say, no thanks. They're not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks. I still feel as if I'm dreaming so much, born in just one day. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. I'm sure Nelius is beaming. Let's hope she will stay. Good night, Nelius. Let's hope she will
Precision and order. Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim, see what you learn. Me, I was told when I was small, just learn a trade, so I learned them all. Chim chimney, chim chim, cherry.
Morning, bud. Swap the decks today, I see.
Gotta keep the streets ship shape, Admiral.
Tell me, how are things aboard number 17?
There's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Miss Locke. First children need is a touch of the cat and a knot of the yard arm.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness. Mrs. Brill, don't make the sandwiches too early. They'll get stale before the guests arrive.
Everything's under control, Mom.
And what about the cake?
Cooling on the tray, waiting to be iced.
And are you sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure. And in case you're worried, I have not been exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
No.
Ew.
Well, I'll just go up and check the drawing room then.
I'd like to be of some help, Miss Brill.
And I'd like to be rich, but the good Lord thought otherwise.
Miss Brill, Mother wants you in the drawing room.
Well, she can't have me. I've enough on my plate as it is.
She says you can tell Robertson I what to do.
Does she indeed? Well, why don't I go have a smoke near the gasworks for good measure?
I don't mind, Miss Brill, honest.
All right. I will give you one task and one task only, and so help me, if you get this wrong, I will swing for you and sing as they pull the lever.
What is it, Miss Brill?
Put the icing tools next to the cake. Next to the cake! Then I'll need a bowl of hot water to warm them. I will make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Icing tools, cake, hot water. You'll make the icing as soon as you get back.
Now, do you think you can manage all that?
Ha! Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. Once the cake's done, I have the sandwiches next because Madam wants them fresh. So I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. I swear, a slave in ancient Rome was on pleasure cruise compared to my life in this household.
Well, don't just stand there, Robert and I.
Right, Miss Jane.
What are you looking for?
Bowl for water?
Michael, why don't we just make the icing?
Because we don't know how.
Don't be so feeble and get me the eggs. If Miss Brill can do it, it can't be that hard.
Are there eggs in icing?
There are in mine.
That's not how Miss Brill does it.
Don't be so impertinent and give me the cake.
Ooh, Miss Jane, honestly, I was only trying to help. I would.
Robert and I? Mrs. Brill, go on up and get... What have you done? Robert and I? Oh dear, should I call a doctor?
I don't think that will be necessary, ma'am.
How can you be so unkind when you know how important my party is? You deserve some very nasty medicine. Oh, just you wait until bedtime.
Oh, I don't think we should wait till then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear up, won't we? But we're not ill. I won't take it, and you can't make me. In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open. But it's strawberry ice. Now you.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Now off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane.
Must we? Can't Robert and I do it when he wakes up? He is a servant.
With that attitude, you'll get through a lot of stuff before you're very old. Besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game, and every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a lark, a spree. It's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. The honeybees that fetch the nectar from the flowers to the comb never tire of ever buzzing to and fro, because they take a little nip from every flower that they sip, and hence they find their task is not a grind. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. Spit spot? Is this how you usually do it, Michael? Rum punch, my favorite.
Now, Jane, Michael, Space Spot.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Apparently these came this morning and Robertson, I forgot to deliver them. They're apologies, ma'am, from your guest. They're not coming. None of them.
Do you think we chose the wrong day?
No, ma'am. I think you chose the wrong people.
In the most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, where are we going today?
I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree? If he did, you must have put the idea into his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say! Me putting ideas into other people's heads. Really?
Ray of sunshine, count shillings and pence. Good morning. Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hilt. For shrewd investment and advice, they'll pay our price, the bedrock on which banks are built. Banks, a word. I see Havron House is coming in today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Well, good, good. Be sure it's the right one. Every transaction, credit or debt, sheets of our balance, targets
What objections could you have? My security is more than adequate, and Latin America is an expanding market. Come on, man, what's the matter? Have you no courage? But Mr. Von Hustle, what I haven't been able to grasp is, what exactly is your final product? Why, money, of course. Yes, money, but making money out of money, is that enough? Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire, to make his name in many distant lands. And in this new world, I am told, we'll soon strike gold. Let's seize that chance with both our hands.
Assessing the market, limit the risk. Move through the ladder. Business is risk, 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 risk.
Come to your decision, Mr. Banks. There's a town in between people.
I know that.
Give us this chance. You make credit. The factory could be up in weeks and expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks, I'd give it everything I've got. Believe me.
I do believe you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried to find a way, but there's just not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men who want a better life. They are my collateral. My men have dreams to earn an honest living, a wife and kids, a home to call their own. If you'd invest in us today, it paves the way. I promise we'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook, but I can't.
Hello, Daddy.
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No, we're done. And no man should be too busy for his own children. What are you here for, young man? Have you come for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need money for?
Well, it's never too early to learn its value.
I know the value of this. 6pence.
No, that's its worth. Its value's in how you spend it. Do good, and may you have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
Really, Mary Poppins? What is the meaning of this? I am not without a sense of humor.
Aren't you, Daddy?
No, I am not. But when I was a little boy, I would have never dared interrupt my father.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was. But my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way, and he had been very annoyed if she hadn't.
What about your mother?
I shouldn't think I saw either one of them more than once a week.
Then who kissed you goodnight? Miss Andrew?
Certainly not! There were no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense.
Didn't they mind?
Mind? They were glad to be rid of me. What's the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean, poor? It's what made me the man I am today. Eh, Mary Poppins?
Yes, I'm afraid it did.
Well, you've seen where I work and I have a great deal to do.
What do you look for when you invest in the bank's money, Daddy? A good man or a good idea?
I suppose I should say it's a good man. But a good man is much rarer and much more valuable.
Come along, children.
I've considered your arguments, Mr. Northbrook, and I'm afraid my answer is no.
So you don't recognize a good idea when you see one?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You will regret this, Herr Banks.
A man with dreams that life hasn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Mr. Northbrook, when exactly could the factory open?
Thank you, sir. You won't regret this.
Poppins are back. Poppins, Poppins, Poppins are back.
Woman?
Don't point. And for your information, she's not in the least horrible.
But she's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn to look past what you see? And each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls.
Come, buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. The young ones are hungry, the nests are so bare. All it takes is tuppence from you. The birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead her birds fill the skies.
What are you doing? I'm going to give her my sixpence. What a waste!
That's a matter of opinion. Here, one bag, please. Save your sixpence. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Her words are simple and she's calling to you.
Feed the birds, Poppins of earth, Poppins, Poppins, Poppins of earth.
All gone.
Poppins, Poppins, Poppins of earth.
Ah, you don't say. Willoughby, what's your language? Ah, here she is now. You can tell yourself.
Is that Miss Lockstock Willoughby?
Don't interrupt when someone's barking. You were saying? Really? Well, if she keeps wandering off like that, perhaps it would be better if you kept her on a lead. Willoughby! Ah, look, here she is now.
Willoughby, it's all right. Mummy's here. You know, sometimes you'd almost think he could talk. It's okay, Mummy's here.
Bert, can Willoughby really talk?
Of course he can. Getting him to stop is a problem.
How do you learn to talk dog?
How do you think? Master the grammar
Practice when you can.
and avoid mongrels.
Far too much slang.
Now come along, I can't stand here all day talking shop.
Talking shop? What a silly expression.
There's nothing silly about it in the least.
What do you buy at a talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never heard of a talking shop.
Well, there is only one, and it belongs to Miss Corey.
Who's Miss Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey is older than anyone in the world. She talked to Vlad before he went impaling, to William before he went conquering, and to Alexander when he wasn't so great.
We'll have to call at her shop in the park.
There's no shop in the park.
Remember, anything can happen if you let it.
That's it! I've run out of conversations.
Good day to you, Miss Corey.
Well, if it isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks.
She knows us?
And that was poor little Georgie.
Who?
Georgie Banks, your father. He used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in secret.
But it can't have been the same George Banks. It would be 40 years ago, and no one can remember back that far.
Listen, dearie, I remember everything. I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread. I wonder if we have any left today. Annie, Fanny, look lively!
Yes, Mother.
Here you are, gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars. Georgie always saved his stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversation.
I'm right out of conversations, and I'm right out of words too. You see, I've had a lot of chatterboxes in here today, but let me see what we have left. Oh, I do have some letters, and a little bit of back chat. An ounce, you say? That'll be 15 letters. Go on, take your pick.
Jane, you can choose 7.
I've got a D, G, L, U, C, L, and I. They're no good. We can't make a conversation out of them.
Your turn, Michael. 7 more.
A, F, S, E, T, O, and P.
And I'll choose an X. Now, what words can we make?
Well, I see dog and cat.
Rutiplex, that's 9.
Lepidopteris. That's 11, nearly there.
Those don't count. You made them up.
And where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up.
You know, we can use the same letter more than once. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's not a word.
mistaken. I think it's going to prove a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a word to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I. When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they'd heard this word, they might have used it once or twice.
I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have grasped it in a jiff. In every single pyramid with 30 hieroglyphs. Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it and wild animals will not seem so ferocious.
Add some further flourishes, it's so rococo-cautious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I.
Druids could have carved on their mighty monoliths.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their myths.
I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you say it softly, the effect can be obnoxious.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I, hum-diddle-diddle, hum-diddle-I.
You know you can't say it backwards, which is so old cordyline exit silica philocrepus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants and 16 vowels as well, and put them in order, which is very hard to spell.
S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L-I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-T O-C-I-O-U-S.
Clever clogs.
S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L-I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-T O-C-I-O-U-S. S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L-I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-T O-C-I-O-U-S. S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L-I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-T O-C-I-O-U-S.
Here we go.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilistic, 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 expialidocious. Supercalifragilistic, expialidocious.
The winds may blow, but who's to know exactly what it's bringing? Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
Now you are never to come near that face, nor not anyone else but me neither. That is an heirloom.
Heirloom?
And while I do this, stay totally immobile.
Immobile?
Do not move a muscle. Do you hear me?
Muscle?
Do not even breathe.
Well, I might as well be dead!
Don't give me any ideas.
A game is played, a change is made, but still the road is long. And though they might yet fly a kite, sometimes the wind's too strong.
George, what happened? Are you ill?
No. Should I be?
Of course not. Only, why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No. Everything's all wrong.
My dear, what is it?
If you must know, I refused some German chap alone. It seems he went to our chief rivals and they gave him the money. And it's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect.
It does just, if you say the sound of it, it's something quite atrocious. If you say it loud, it
That is more than loud enough! Go to your room!
But you were just...
I don't care you adjust. Upstairs now! Where's my briefcase? I put it here. Michael?